Welcome to the Econo-Pak Food Packaging Podcast. Today I'm here with Rohail Khan, our Director of Quality. Thank you for joining us today, Rohail.
Thank you for having this, Sarah. I think so. This is a great idea, basically, to getting to know ourselves, I would say, and sharing our knowledge and getting to know about different departments too. I think the previous podcast has been great. I work with these people on a day-to-day basis, but getting to know more closely with them and sharing it with my team members, it has been a great idea. Thank you for arranging this, and I feel honored to be part of this too.
Oh, thank you.
Great.
Well, we want to ask you a little bit about your background. So what led you to become the Director of Quality at Econo-Pak?
Again, the position has a name, but definitely food safety and quality has been my passion. I've been in the food industry for around 14, 15 years. When I joined the industry, it was again a learning experience at that point. Even it's a learning point in my career right now, because it's always something that you need to make yourself aware of your surroundings, the updates that you're going through. Again, as I said, it's an interesting field, food safety. When you talk about in quality, it's great. Like the new challenges that you see with the new influx of food around different countries. Like now we are talking about a small world when we talk about food industry. Food industry used to be more domestic, locally grown, but now you might be eating a dinner that has ingredients from like 20 different countries coming out, like where at some places where there are highly regulated food safety measures, where you have some countries where the things are not regulated as well. So again, it's making sure like what we do on a day-to-day basis with food safety, that motivates me on a day-to-day basis. I think so it is an interesting and a challenging job as well too. Mm-hmm. But managing that basically and working with the team on these topics, I think helps me a lot. One of the things, the second part of your question, working at Econo-Pak, when I was going through my interviewing process and visiting the facility, the things that I like about was management that attracted me to join the company and later on working with the company, because some of the time, at some places that I have been, they don't factor in food safety or the capital investment basically as a big measure. Whereas since the time I've been over here, things, let's put it this way, things have been pretty much easier when it comes to capital investment on quality testing methods, or you talk about investing on the team itself. I think so the management has been helping me a lot. Mm-hmm. A lot with those things. And the other thing is basically the different kind of products that we deal on a day-to-day basis. I think so that interests me working at Econo-Pak on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's accurate to say that you're a food safety nerd.
No. I do like to keep myself updated, let's put it that way. Even if the things that are going in the industry and are not related to the products that we handle on a day-to-day basis, I like to learn. Again, as I said initially, my biggest thing is basically to keep updating and learning about what's going on in the industry. There's so much to learn. There's so much to absorb on a day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. You have new trends coming in, new products coming in. You have new regulations that are playing into the industry, because now when we talk about exporting product or importing product, that's another area of your food safety portfolio. Mm-hmm. So I think so. I won't call myself a nerd, but again, a student, I would say.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, I know you spent a lot of time continuing to educate yourself, like you mentioned, and you've attended several conferences in the past year as well. I'm sure that provides a lot of industry insight on what retailers are looking for, what different brands are looking for, and different requirements and things like that.
Definitely. Hearing from the other experts, they are people who are more educated, more experienced than me in the industry, and which they deal with different regulatory bodies too. So I do attend, besides like on a regular basis, I attend webinars that happens probably twice a week sort of thing. Then learning about some of the changes in the industry, what's what's going around. I think it falls down onto back onto that. Like, you have to keep yourself updated.
Yeah.
What's going around the industry, because if somebody just closes the door on knowledge basically and think that they are fully educated, I think so that's probably, it's better to retire at that time, I guess.
Can you explain what food safety culture is and what goes into it?
Going back to food safety is not just my responsibility. Let's talk about the company, about our company over here. It's not just my responsibility or my department responsibility or an individual department responsibility. It's a collective effort that basically plays in roles by everybody in the facility. Food safety is everybody's responsibility. When you talk about management, you talk about different departments, you talk about there are different process steps that you can go through. At every process step, there can be a food safety issue. You talk about receiving the product, you're talking about storing the product, you're talking about going through production. In a manufacturing world, as the old saying is, basically there are three bigger values where you see the deviations. Basically, it's people, your product, or your process. In my learning or my experience, it's the people is always the challenging one. But food safety culture basically is an area of different responsibilities and communication and experience that you go through with educating your people. I think so that's important. Like, somebody might be doing the same thing for last 10 years. Mm-hmm. Let them know if they're doing it correct. Like, it works both ways. Like, if they're working wrong, you need to teach them basically, rather than just dictating them that this thing is wrong and don't do it. But in my understanding, if you explain that person why you're doing it, what was the idea, it will be a seeding basically for them to understand and for their knowledge. So you're communicating some of their knowledge back to them, which helps in the long run, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're currently working on a new training video, right, that we show every year?
Yes, so this year we have made it interesting. Like, in the past years, basically was just a regular power slide sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But this year we are actually working it more, where we're involving everybody, where they are presenting and being the owner of the slides, or basically that food safety aspect, which helps us in the long run, basically not to help our existing employees to get involved, but also new people that we are bringing on board to understand what our policies and procedures around food safety is.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So I want to touch a little bit on our allergen management protocol. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah. So at Econo-Pak, we handle different kind of allergens. Again, first of all, we handle shelf-stable dry goods at our facility, where we are co-packaging or co-manufacturing for our customers. So in most instances, the product that we are receiving is already in an RTE format, where basically it's ready to eat. So we are not receiving a lot of ingredients. However, like, all these products have different portfolios or different profiles of allergens, where you can have one as a combination of two allergens, whereas like one product that you're dealing with does not have any allergen. The way that we deal basically over here, so some of the time it can be actually challenging because you're dealing with different profiles of allergens. So the way that we handle at our facility, we have segregated areas based on allergen profiles. When we take in the product, we do consider the allergen. The first thing we consider is basically also if the product is aligned to our product that we are running on a day-to-day basis. I'm pretty sure like our team receives codes for various things on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, but again, the management has been focused on basically running similar products that we run at the facility, like dry, shelf stable. So going back to the allergen point, we basically have segregated areas. We specify lines based on allergen profile, so we don't have to do a lot of changeovers. In a food manufacturing or processing facility, one of the biggest challenges that some of the time small scale companies has is basically because they are using the same line for running 3 different allergen profile. That gives you an opportunity or a risk, higher risk basically when you're going to do a changeover, because there are different parts in an equipment that sometimes cannot be properly cleaned, which it should be, but some of the time these things happen in the industry. So that is a key vital role that we actually manage all the allergen profiles. So whenever we receive a new product or a new prospect coming into our doors, the first thing we consider is the allergen profile. Where are we going to run it? How are we going to run it? Those are the key element factors. And then besides that, besides the allergen segregation, we do a lot of testing, allergen testing within the facility, and we also use the third-party labs to conduct and verify and validate our testing methods.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what role does technology play in monitoring and enhancing food safety, especially at Econo-Pak?
I think technology has helped, like any other industry. Technology is helping a lot on the food safety aspect too, because now we use multiple platforms and we are always updating our platforms too to make sure that we are up to the current market values, basically what's best available. And that actually keens what I said earlier, basically with the management, like capital investment. Some of the time, some places are hesitant to do that capital investment, but it's the ROI or the return of investment that we have received within the last few years with these platforms. It makes it more easier with the technology going into with these platforms, because now you're not digging in with your paper-based binders and spending 2 hours just to find a piece of paper. Now, most of our reporting is basically digital and it's real time. So one of my team members, if they are reporting an incident or anything, it comes down directly to my email, so I can act more faster rather than spending more time getting the information related. Also, it actually gives a central base approach to my team. So let's say if somebody is moving out or moving to a different department or a different role, this actually makes it easier for the next person to put that foot in, basically in that position, and get authority on that scenario or what we are running the processes. So it streamlines the processes, but also saves time. And the biggest thing is basically it provides you more traceability of your product and traceability of the processes.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell us a little bit about the different food safety standards and certificates and certifications that we hold?
Absolutely. Econo-Pak basically holds several food safety and identity preserve certifications at our facility. One of the biggest one is SQF, which is based on the GFSI Global Food Safety Initiative model, which takes in consideration all the food safety elements that are accepted globally and needs to be followed on a day-to-day basis. So we have Econo-Pak has been SQF certified for many years now. We continuously basically monitor to up our programs on a day-to-day basis and make sure that we are aligned with the GFSI, SQF, and the regulatory requirements. Besides the SQF, so we do hold not the food manufacturing side of the SQF certification, but we also hold the quality side. Mm-hmm. A lot of companies don't tend to, again, because it's their choice or their customer needs, but Econo-Pak has decided to follow that. So we have been maintaining good standards and good results in our past SQF audits. Besides SQF, we also handle certain identity preserved foods, basically claims, certifications, which is one is organic. We are capable of running organic products too at our facility. We do have kosher certifications, a couple of kosher certifications. We do have our GFCO products, basically where we are running some of the gluten-free certified products at our facility. So that ties, and we have these certifications for many years. And this ties to your earlier question based on allergen management as one of the things, because our programs and processes has been vetted and verified by not only the regulatory bodies, but also third-party certification bodies. And also they are audited regularly from our customers too, because they have their own programs, and we work with some of the global companies at our facility, which has broad-based global programs. So it's not limited to one country like United States. They handle Canada and other countries too. So again, and we are always in the process of basically accommodating some of the requests from our customers. So let's say our customers coming in and basically like And so you don't want, just because you want to, the customer wants to supply the product to Europe, and they use one of the other gluten-free certification bodies more over there. So we do accommodate some of these requests from our customers too, where we get audited on behalf of them. So we have several other certifications that are based on customer needs. Again, Econo-Pak is the one who was audited, but we don't hold the certificate, so I cannot share it over here.
Yeah.
But again, we are more than welcome basically to assist or basically get our facility audited, because our mindset is to do the right thing on a day-to-day basis and make sure that we are equipped with what we say, like on a day-to-day basis with the food safety aspects of the things. Going back to that, like yes, we are certified by the globally recognized standards.
Yeah, that's great. And going back to what Sarah mentioned earlier about like the education side, and we were talking a lot about that. Your team is constantly learning from you because you're spending a lot of time to know the standards and be able to follow all the new things that are, the regulations and everything. And it's great to walk around the company and meet with a lot of your team members and have them be excited about learning. I know you're always doing those learning centers in the conference room with your team and showing them the stats and the statistics and all the things that you're learning. So I think that's a great call out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's I just want to add, like it's a continuous improvement process. Basically, when we built into that, like again, I can be sitting down on my chair and saying, hey, we are doing great, and there's nothing like next in 3 months. I think it's a continuous process. My belief is basically knowledge should be shared, should not be kept to me or one individual. So I tend to share my knowledge as much as I can with my team members so they can make those choices, they can make that call, which rather than waiting for me or somebody else. And then besides the internal trainings, which we do continuously with our team and different departments too, I also basically send my team members for different certifications for like you talk about HACCP certifications, for PCQI certifications. So again, my mindset is basically knowledge should be shared as much as like I might learn from my team member, they might learn from me. So again, it's a combination, and a better communication always helps that out.
Yeah, never settling.
Never settling.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I have a question about SQF. When the auditors come, what is it that they're looking for? What do we have to do to be level 3, the excellent level?
Again, there's a different combination of different modules because they are like SQF is one kind of a certification under GFSI. You have BRC, you have FSSC certifications, but these are all SQF certification is built on the GFSI standards, which is basically going back to the Codex, which is a global standard by WHO, basically what everybody needs to follow as a food manufacturing site. So when the auditor comes in, basically they are following the standard. An audit basically is part of verifying that you're following the standard. There are different modules, like we normally spend few days basically going into the audit room. When the auditor is over here, they're verifying that all our programs are aligned with the GFSI requirements, and also our practices are also compliant with what we are putting down on the document. So those are the key factors. And again, like I'm fortunate enough basically to have excellent auditors in my career, not like in my career actually, where they are understanding, they do understand what's the need, what the standard says, and they are judging me based on the standard. So again, going back to that, they are basically verifying what the standard is saying, and relating to that, what I said earlier, like, so for us, it's not basically the day of the audit or the day prior to the audit. For us, basically, it's a day-to-day process. Yes, there are challenges that you encounter on a day-to-day basis, because the other part of quality and food safety is basically you never know. You might basically have 2 smooth days, and third day you might be having something. But these are manufacturing challenges that happens in every industry, not just food industry, but happens in every industry. So following the standard is one of the things that the auditors are looking for.
And the technology that you mentioned earlier too, I'm sure that helps keep all the records organized and be able to report and react very efficiently with anything that's needed.
Yep, and in my past experience, in my past experience at Econo-Pak, basically it has been great. Like auditors basically like my technology side of the things, because to me, if I ask for a document and I have to wait for several hours, it makes it more painful for me. Like if I have the documents ready, like right in front of the auditor, where actually they are seeing on the screen what I am seeing on my system. So it makes it easy, and a lot of auditors in the past has commended us basically having some of these setups at our workflow. Our process, just extending the topic a little bit, our process is basically we are trying to work with our team to go paperless within the next 6 months, where most of the documents would be available. So if it's a document retrieval, like if my customer or regulatory body is asking me for a document, I don't have to go down, basically take a paper and basically go through the binder for 2 hours. I can just pull it up within 5 minutes, basically, because, again, technology helps a lot.
Mm-hmm. So we've talked a lot about food safety, but what we do is, food packaging. So I'd love to hear how we maintain our quality standards with packaging.
Our quality standards, we have built programs based on quality inspections. Continuous monitoring is one of the biggest thing that you need to do in terms of packaging, because you might be running at a manufacturing facility where you're making bulk, you might have checks at 2 hours, 4 hours, where you can retrieve or rework the product. In our example, if we lack that continuous integrated monitoring on a regular basis, it actually puts us on a difficult spot, because now you have spent 2 hours, 4 hours of production basically, and then you don't have a recourse of reworking the product. So in our example, continuous monitoring is very important. We built our programs based on industry levels, basically looking for different weight checks, packaging integrities, making sure all our product that we are producing for the consumer is up to the brand itself. Because when we partner with our customers, we are not basically saying, hey, this is one type of a product. Basically, yes, our name does not show up on the product, but we take it very we take it very responsibly, because we are a partner in the supply chain. We are making sure the customer's brand is protected. So we don't want to basically having a product ending up in the market that is basically not up to the quality standards. As a consumer, we don't make that call for the consumer. Mm-hmm. Again, it's between the brand and the consumer. But as part of the supply chain, we do continuous monitoring, and going back, correlating that to technology. We are in the process of involving a lot of different sites of inspection, where you talk about camera systems, inspecting every package. You talk about label inspections. And some of the testing of the seals itself. Mm-hmm. So there's always a learning curve basically coming ahead our way.
I would say that is the investment that's made here, right, at Econo-Pak from a management level, into the quality, the equipment, the technology. I mean, we have a lot of really innovative equipment as well that we use for testing and making sure that we can handle things. The investment in the education, the investment in building the right team members and having really good team members, that speaks volumes when you're talking to a customer that is looking to bring their product into mass market. A lot of brands, they come up with an idea, they start developing it on their own, they buy equipment and they start packaging things and they put it out there, and then they realize in order to get into that mass market level and that real scalability, they need to follow more guidelines than they may have thought, before. So, it's great to bring you into the conversation to show that capability from Econo-Pak's side, because the sales side, talking to these customers, that's always something that stands out. And a lot of times they realize that we want to sell to Costco or something like that, and they're like, oh, well, we didn't realize we need to have a certification and a facility that can back that. And those are the things that we offer here. And and I know that that's a great it's a great benefit that Econo-Pak can offer.
Mm-hmm. And correlating to that, Mike, that helps us basically not working with the bigger clients or global clients, but also helps us to basically work with some of the startup clients that I have been in the facility, and I have seen basically within my experience over here, where we started as small runs for a customer, and then we end up basically just dedicating a room for them.
Yeah.
So it's some of the time it's the guidance that we work with our global customers, and some of the time we are educating our customers too on the aspects. This needs to be done. Not basically, again, guiding them, not basically dictating them. Basically, it's their product, their brand, but educating them, like, because again, somebody might be coming from an operational point of view, somebody might be coming from marketing or sales point of view, but they're the elements what food safety or the regulatory requirements, that's what we build in with our customers. So that's why I think so one of the things that always excites me working over here is that we have a great mindset with our management where they are looking for basically the products that need to work through with the customer, but they are always accommodating, basically starting helping out new businesses too on the side, and also building up the portfolio of our existing customers with different products. So I've seen a lot of product launches in the past that we have worked with a client. Going back to that where we were just doing a trial run, then it was just basically a sales run, and then you end up running basically dedicating a complete room and multiple lines to that customer.
Well, your mindset of sharing the knowledge, that doesn't only come from the quality side. That comes from all the different departments in the company, and I love that about our company. I think it's great. We want to share knowledge. There's so many great brands. Sarah and I get to speak to a lot of different customers and clients, potential clients as well, about what we do and what we offer and how we can help them. And there's so many great brands out there, and it's great when we bring somebody into a trial or a first production run, and then all of a sudden we as a company can watch them scale into mass market. I think that's an awesome service that we provide.
So what key metrics do you use to measure quality?
We have built up like different KPIs, indexes basically for my department. Like when we talk about food safety and quality, there are different models that we have been running, or different sections that we have looking into our KPIs on an annual basis. Right now, one of the biggest thing is our consumer complaints. So we do actually work on our consumer complaints, and for the last 3 years, working with some of our bigger clients and our smaller clients, we have seen actually a reduction of more than 40%, I would say.
Wow.
Again, and those issues were not related to food safety. It was more on quality side of the things. Again, think about that. We make millions of packages every month, and again, like so. Going back to the question of branding, with the brand partnership that we do, we on our side basically we take that as one of the measures which we constantly are trying to reduce as much as we can. It is difficult to get an absolute zero. I wish we can, but we are trying to work on. So consumer complaint is one thing that we do trend on a regular basis. Our pest management is one of the things that we continuously manage, because again, we are handling with food, and pests are attracted to food. So we do have a third party and our internal team that work consistently to make sure everything is clean at our facility. So that's something we also work. And then there are some other elements. We talk about the weight of the packages, where we talk about trending data on our sanitation effectiveness. So those are the things. The last thing that I do trend that I have been actually doing last 2 years is basically educating my team members. Like that's again not part of a written document or basically other KPIs, but when I talk about education, I'm not only talking about internal education, I'm talking about helping out with their knowledge and also their career, helping out, getting them certified, getting them involved with different webinars, the same way somebody taught me the way. Like I had several mentors throughout my career, still have. So I try to actually help them out. So those are the key performance indicators. And this all actually comes down to continuous improvement process. Like what we do, going back to the same thing, there's always room of opportunity, even if you're doing great. Like even if you have excellent rating in some of your certifications, there would be challenges that you see on a day-to-day basis. The biggest thing is how you overcome or how you mitigate the risk that you're handling when you're talking about allergens or food handling at your facility.
That's great. And so before we wrap this up, clearly you are an expert in your field, but we want to know what Rohail is like outside of work.
Okay, family is the priority to me. I think most of the time involved with the family. Besides that, I the season changed, but I started playing golf this year. I do some other sports too that I do on a regular day-to-day basis. I follow sports too. I think that's one of my biggest things that I do. Other than that, it's just like food. Food is one of the biggest things I would say. Who doesn't like food? Like, I'm a big foodie, I would say. So I think so. It's just my motto is basically respect others, so be respected, sort of kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what I would say I am.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Rohail. It was awesome to speak with you.
Thank you for this opportunity, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.